This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We're back out here on this job where we installed some gutter drainage pipes, and this is phase 2 today. So let's take a look. We've got the mini excavator here today. We've got a bunch of dirt, and we've got the mini bobcat with the Harley rake. And so if you remember from the previous part of this job, we caught some gutters here. We caught this gutter and we caught that gutter, and then we extended a pop-up emitter. We replaced a pop-up emitter and we cored into a culvert somewhere around here and put this catch basin in here. So this has all been working really well. They got the trees removed, and so what we're doing today is we're going to try to dig this out. So this is obviously not working correctly, and we're going to put that dirt along this fence line here, because right now what happens is the dirt just pretty much washes right across the backyard here. So a lot of work with the machines today and trying to redirect this water. These 3 trees here were cut down by the tree guys, and that was really the last thing that was holding phase 2 of this job up, was getting those trees done. So when the homeowner called me and said they were done, we were ready to go back over there. But I had included taking the stumps out because I knew I would have the mini excavator over there, and the homeowner was pretty excited about getting the stumps removed instead of ground down and a giant pile of sawdust left. So that's the first part of today, is getting these stumps pulled out of here. I'm using a root hook that I bought for this mini excavator, and it's just basically like a talon. It's like a big claw, and what it does is it puts all the power of the excavator into that one small area. And so what it does is it rips the roots out, it breaks the roots, and it doesn't end up digging a giant hole instead. So it really works well for getting these stumps out of here. Now, when you're pulling out stumps, you never really know. Are they going to come out easily? Are they going to be really, really difficult? But these here were pretty good. And so I'm just grabbing them right there, and then I'll just track it back and throw it in the back of the dump truck. So it makes pretty good work of it. Alright, we are making pretty good progress here. I got all the stumps pulled out. I guess it was about 6 or something stumps. So now what we're going to do is we're going to try to reshape this a little bit and make a swale right through here. So we're going to take this dirt and put it up against the fence, and maybe even bring in some more dirt. I wanted to show you before we get too far though, the water is telling us exactly where it is. So the water's coming down, and we're not really sure where it's coming from, but it's coming down right through here, and it's just washing right across and through that gate. And so this area especially, we want to be really sure that we're getting a lot of armor over here. We want to create our new swale and direct the water straight to that drainage basin. So we should be in pretty good shape. I'm going to get the tooth off the excavator and get that 24-inch grading bucket on there. Looks like I broke a couple of pickets. That happens a lot of times when we're pulling stumps out, but pickets are easy to replace. Oh, I wanted to mention too, there's all kinds of cable in here. And so these are all old cables, thankfully, right? The customer has a different company, and the customer's line is coming from the front to the house right there. So these, I already verified that these lines are going straight to the house. So they're okay to cut because they're not in usage. If these lines were going maybe out to a neighbor, then you'd be in trouble. You couldn't cut them. So we have also a transformer right here, covered in Virginia creeper. So there's power here too, but that's going to be super deep. So we should be in pretty good shape to keep going forward here. Amazingly, I haven't seen any poison ivy in here. This is Virginia creeper. This, it looks like strawberry. This is pokeberry here. This is a little cherry tree. So I've been keeping an eye out, but I haven't seen any poison ivy so far. Oh, there's your little strawberries right there. So anyway, we're working on our swale here. We've got it built up over here. Now, a concern was the fence rotting out, but this fence is old, and the homeowner was much more concerned with his yard, his play area, and the side over there flooding constantly. So whenever the fence finally rots out, he'll replace it with that. That's no problem. So we're definitely piling this up against the fence, which will, you know, impact the fence. But again, he was much more worried about his yard than the fence, the old fence. So now what I'm going to try to work on here, I guess I need to blow all this out to try and reshape this drainage basin here. It's just not doing anything. There's no way the water can get into it. So that's what I'm working on now. The reason we didn't use this dirt over here on the swale is because this dirt here has a lot of organic in it. The dirt I brought is more of a subsoil that I've collected. So that's got a lot more clay content in it. It'll pack down and be more waterproof than this will be. So we're gonna just kind of redistribute this around. I brought the Harley rake so we can make it look really good when we're finished. I'm getting this drainage basin exposed, and look at what they did here. You see all this gravel in here? They like wrapped it up with a tarp, it looks like, and then put gravel around it. So I was worried that there weren't any standoffs in here, but look at that. It is a regular drainage basin. It's just buried. So I don't know what they were thinking when they put this in here, but we're gonna get this to where it's working right again. So don't use fabric. I just talked to the homeowner, and we had such good luck with those other stumps that he's going to get me to get these stumps out of here. So that last one, that's a pretty big one, but these here, hopefully I'll be able to get these out. So we'll be hauling a load of stumps out of here for him. Got the tooth back on, so here we go. This is that last stump I had to do. This was also the largest one, and these were Leland cypress trees. Sometimes the Leland cypress stumps come right out, like in this case. Other times I've had where they just are a terrible, terrible time trying to get them out. And all you do is you just keep working at it and breaking those roots until you finally break all the roots that are holding it and you get it to pop loose, which is what I'm doing here. Once that thing pops loose, it's pretty much good to go. And you just kind of pick it and scrape the dirt off of it because you don't want to haul the dirt away, just the stump. It's a little bit difficult to see in this clip, but Jeremy is using the mini bobcat. He took the bucket off of it for a little bit more clearance, and he's using that to track over the berm that we created. And so if you're going to create a berm, it's very, very important to get it packed down really well. And this machine works real well. It's quite nimble and it can fit in small spaces. And so you just track back and forth over the ground and your berm, and it packs it in really well. And since it's on tracks, it packs it real nice and level. When I was over here pulling on this thing, I slid it off a little bit, so we got to slide it back in place. But it's looking pretty good. It's nice and open. We are just finishing up this job and getting all these stumps loaded up. The other nice thing about this root hook is it's extremely lightweight and compared to a full bucket. And so if you're using a bucket to pick stuff up, the weight of the bucket takes away from your lifting capacity. And so by having that root hook on there, I can really lift a lot of these big stumps and lift them up high and get them in the back of this dump truck. We are finished with this job, so let's take a look. We've got all of our stumps loaded up, so those will be hauled back to my place and then eventually to the yard waste facility. We got these stumps out. This was kind of an add-on since we were here. I talked to the homeowner about it. He said go ahead and get them out of here. So we flattened everything back out. He wants to plant a few more, I think he said some myrtles along here. And we got this drainage basin dug out. So we're gonna see how this does, and I told the homeowner, you know, keep an eye on things, and if I need to come back here and touch something up, to let me know. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to get it right the first time with water, but this is mainly our swale here. This is the main reason that we were here for this phase. So that should keep that water out of his backyard, the water that comes rushing down the hill here. So it should hit the berm, hit the swale, and come right through here. And now this drainage basin has been opened up. So I don't know why they buried it before, but they did for whatever reason, and we are now we should now be back in business. We tried to pop this lid off right here, but we couldn't get it. So we may do something different there. But overall, the homeowner is super happy. And working with homeowners like him is just really, really nice to do for me too. So I think this job is about done. This lid had been buried for years, and so it was all jammed and rusted into place. And I wanted to get it popped open so that we could access it if we ever needed to, and just to check on the condition of the rest of the drainage basin. So we spent a bunch of time over here banging around on this thing, trying to get it loosened and popped free, but we finally got it. All right, we got that lid off of there, so we're going to try to get it cleaned up. But this is in good, really good shape. I'm back out here. It's been several weeks. We haven't had a whole lot of rain, so I wanted to check on this swale and see how he did. So let's take a look. So there's that from the original part of the job. This is where all those trees were, all those stumps that we took out. This is the new dugout. And our new swale. So you can see that we're catching water in the swale big time. And this here was the water that we were trying to collect. So it looks like my customer's yard's really good. I've talked to him a couple times and he said everything's going really well. So that's really good news.